Hello everyone. Myself, I am Saranya, working as an assistant professor in the Department of AIML in MLR Institute of Technology. Today, I am going to discuss the topic about key management. So, coming to the overview of this key management, we are going to see about the what is meant by key management and what are those types of key management, and also key management life cycle, means life cycle of the key management. These are the three things we are going to see in the key management process. So firstly, we should know what is meant by key management process. So basically, the key management process is the cryptographic keys in a crypto system. It also mainly includes the dealing of the generation process and the exchange process and also the storage, and it also use and also crypto threading. It is nothing but a destruction process, and also it may replace the keys also. And basically it includes cryptographical protocol design and also the key servers, user procedures, and also some relevant type of the protocols related to the cryptographic keys. And it also contains at the only the user level between either the users or the systems. So basically the between users or systems, it's going to be concerned at the user level. So it is the more challenging side of the cryptography. So between the users or the systems, it is the more challenging side. So it accepts of social engineering attacks also, such as system policy and also the user training and some of the organizational and departmental interactions also. Before that, so basically the organization and also the department also may include in the key management process. So we are having the types of key management are two types. One is distribution of public keys, and second one is public key encryption to distribute the secrets. Whatever the secrets are having between the users and the systems, that are going to two types of the key management. So coming to the first point of the type of distribution of public key. So basically this distribution of public key can be distributed into four ways. So first one is public announcement process. The next one is publicly available directory process, and public key authority process, and public key certificates also. So coming to the first part of the distribution of public key, that is nothing but a public announcements. In this public announcements, so private is nothing but we are going to secure our information to only ourselves. Public is nothing but it is visible to everyone, and also it should be a public key. So here the public key is broadcast to the everyone, means not only ourselves, it should be visible to everyone. So the major weakness of this method is a forgery method. So the main weakness of this method is forgery method, and it also can create a key claiming, means to be someone else and to be broadcast. So until the forgery is discovered, it can masquerade as a claimed user. So it can be discovered as a claimed user in the public announcements. So see here, the public announcements can be seen in the type of the figure. Here the user 1 will be there. Of all the users, there will be a number of recipients. Here are 1, 2 and 3. That is the way we are going to communicate in the public announcement, means it is visible to the everyone. That is the figure shows that the public announcements. Then second one is publicly available directory. So in this publicly available directory, we are the trusted here with the properties of registration process and also the access, and to allow modify values at any time, means name comma public key. So there will be some of the entries in the available directory, means like of user registration or any having the access to modify the values or to contain the to changes the contents like a name or public key. And it also be accessed electronically, still vulnerable to forgery or the any tampering process, means they can still vulnerable to any forgery or tampering process. The next third one is public key authority. In this public key authority, it mainly improves the security by tightening control over the distribution of keys from the main of the directory. So this is the lock one. So basically this directory should be locked over the distribution of the keys if to improve the security purposes. So it requires the users to know about the public key for the directory. So that is the main public key authority. We need to remember two things. One is improves the security process and also the distribution of the key from the directory. So fourth one is public certification process. So what is this public certification process does? So it provides a certificate which binds an identity to the public key, not the private key. It is the public key to only allow key exchange without the real-time access to the public authority each time. So at the each time it going to be real-time access. So basically it is accompanied by some other information such as having a period of validity or any rights of the users, like that we are going to have in the public certification process. That are the four types of key management. The next we are going to see about the life cycle of the key management. So basically for example, we are having one key. So we need to have the key for the main of installation process, and we are going to establish or the certification process, or we need to do, and after the using of the key and after the storing, and everything should be seen in this diagram. So let us have what is the meant by key management life cycle. So having the outlines of the stages which cryptographic keys are mostly generated and also should be used, and eventually it should be destroyed or it should be retired. So basically the key management life cycle having the number of stages which are related to generate and also be used and also the eventually retired or the should be destroyed. So basically of this managing keys, it should be ensure the security of the cryptographic systems also. So here an overview of each stage. Let us see what will happen in this whole cryptographic life management life cycle. Here, firstly, we are going to have an generation of the key. Then after the installation process, then after it is going to establish and certification of the key, and after the using of the key, storing of key, and also after the storing it should be going to update and also the recover key. After that process it will be revoke the key. So these are the whole life cycle of key management process. So coming to the first one of key generation. So let us see one by one type of the life cycle management. First one is key generation. So basically we are going to see in this key generation are one is creation and another one is initialization process. So basically the creation is nothing but it is going to the keys should be created by using the securing algorithms. So basically it ensure the both should be randomness and also should be the strength. After that initialization process, after the creation we are going to the next step of the initialization. In initialization the keys are initialized with the specific parameters, means intended use, example like length comma algorithm. That are the two of key generation process. The next one is key distribution. So what is in key distribution will be done between the sharing process and also the publication. For sharing it should be used for the symmetric keys. For symmetric keys it is going to be methods should be secure and it shares the key between the two parties. And also the publication. For this publication it should be shared openly while the private key remains confidential. So the matter should be very highly confidential in the key distribution process. The next one is key storage process. So what will be done in the key storage process, that is also mainly done upon the two types. One is protection process and another one is access control. Of this protection process it should be stored securely, and it also typically in hardware security models, that is nothing but a HSMS, or it should be an encrypted key stores. So mainly to prevent this all HSMS and also the key stores to prevent the unauthorized access. So basically from the unauthorized access it should be a typically in hardware security modules and also the key stores. The next one is access control. Access control is nothing but only authorized users or the system should be accessible to the those keys. The next fourth type is key usage process. So in this key usage process we are basically should be seen in the first one is application process. In this application, what they are going to do, such as functions of encrypting, decrypting data, or signing, and also the verifying messages. These are the four things should be done in the application of the key usage process. The next one is monitoring. In the key usage process, it should be a two types. One is application process and the another one is monitoring. So application is basically done in the four ways, such as encryption, decrypting data, and also the signing or verifying the messages. And monitoring, it should be detect any unusual or unauthorized activities. So basically, it should be monitored between the any unauthorized activities is done or not. It should be observed keenly. The next one is fifth type, key rotation. In this key rotation, basically we are having the two types, that is updating and reckoning. Reckoning is nothing but basically new keys are going to be distributed, or any having the old ones replacing. This all will happen in the reckoning. First one is updating process. In this updating process, so it is basically the keys should be reduce the risk of exposure or should be compromised in the key rotation process. In the reckoning of key rotation process, which should be seen here, new keys are generated and also be distributed, and it should be replaced by the old ones while it ensures the continuity of the service. So basically it is when it is going to continue to of these services in the key rotation, so it should always done in the reckoning process. The next sixth type is key revocation. See, this key revocation is nothing but it should be no longer secure or needed, that are invalidated. That is the basic definition of key revocation. So it is also done in the two ways. One is invalidation and also the revocation notices. So what are the notices and also the invalidation forms? So that are basically keys that should not be no longer secure or needed. That are the two processes done in the key revocation. And some of the notices for the public keys, certificates, or any notices are distributed to inform others that key should not be longer should be trusted. Means it will give some information while they are passing the notices. The key should no longer should be trusted. Means we cannot trust no longer time of the key. Then seventh one is key archival. That is, key archival is nothing but having or two types. One is key storage process and also the access restriction process. So in this storage process, any we are having the for the future purposes, we are going to seen in the storage. So access, coming to the access restrictions. So any archived keys are kept in a secure location with the some of the particular restricted access. That are the 7 types of key management life cycle. So firstly we are going to generate, then after the installation process, what are the keys that are installed by using the public key, then after this establishing, then after certifying. So after that both the certifying between the parties, it should be going to use. After this using, it stores some of the key. After this storing, whether it is going to be update or recover, this after the process it should be revoked. That are the final process of the key management life cycle. So these are the 7 types, and 8th one is key destruction. So of this whole completion of the 7 process, we should know about the key destruction. Means after this completion of key archival, then where is the key destruction process also? Because of all this key management life cycle, while we are going to create, some of the keys should be established and the keys should be stored and keys should be used. So basically after the key destruction process also, we are going to have the 2 types. One is erasure form and also the verification process should be done in the key destruction process. So see, when keys are no longer needed, that should be securely destroyed to prevent any possibility of the recovery. Means they check in the erasure form whether they to prevent any possibility of recovery process, and in the verification it should be the process should be verified that no copies remain. Means after the whole completion of this key process, it should be done in the verification process also. By the destruction process, it should be no copies should be remain in the key destruction. That are the 2 process in the key destruction. These are the 8 types of the key management life cycle. So in today's session, we have discussed about the key management and what are these key management. So basically the types of key management. So two types are there. Then after key management life cycle. So in the next session, we will discuss about the web security in the cryptography. Thank you.